How are you doing today? Today I'll be introducing this tutorial series I've created to help beginner musicians, really. Beginner musicians, beginner piano players. This tutorial series is pretty much teaching you how to play the piano. But the information that you will be given while learning how to play is applicable to any instrument that you want to play. If you want to learn how to play bass, it's applicable to that. If you want to learn how to play guitar, it's applicable to that. Because the piano is the best reference. In my opinion, it's the best reference for a musician. If if you were trying to learn the guitar and you know how to play the keys, it's pretty easy to go to and figure stuff out yourself. Like I've done with myself, I've learned how to play the guitar. I taught myself how to pretty much, figure stuff out, and I have learned the keys. I learned how to play the piano. So this tutorial series is pretty much is gonna teach you how to pretty much play, songs. You pretty much get you going in learning how to play songs and learning the different notes, learning, the two basic skills, learning your two basic skills, and also teaching you how to learn songs without the help of others. You're going to need help, but the way I'm going to teach you is like for those who, not really that don't really have access to anyone that can help them. Like you want to learn a song, but someone hasn't made a tutorial on YouTube. You can actually figure it out yourself. So this tutorial series for those people, beginners, want to learn how to play the piano. I'm gonna give you a great starting point in learning your intervals, scales, learning your different chords and different popular chord progressions. So when you're on the radio in your car, you're driving with your mom, or if you're old enough, you're driving by yourself and you hear a song that you like, you can listen to it, you can record it, you go home, you can listen to the song, transcribe the song, and be able to play it in its basic form. So without a further ado, we're going to start with an introduction of this tutorial series, getting you familiar with the instrument that will be mainly playing, and also go through some sounds that is with it, because there's different types of pianos out there. So we'll go through some sounds, and we'll go through some sounds. So let's start with the introduction. What is a piano and what are the different types, and some more. What is the piano? The piano is mainly upright or grand. Mainly upright or grand, is a stringed and percussive instrument made out of wood, created in Italy around the year 1700 by Bartolomeo Cristofori. The word piano is just a shortened form of pianoforte, which is an Italian term for it in the early 1700s. The term piano and forte means loud and soft respectfully. So piano means loud and forte means soft. The name was used as a contrast for the harpsichord due to it not having dynamic volume. So the harpsichord was a pretty loud instrument. It didn't really vary in pitch, so it was pretty much, it wasn't like, see how I'm playing that soft? It wasn't really like that. The piano back then, however, was more quiet and had a smaller dynamic range. So what is it made out of? We're talking about, so what is it made out of really? The piano, grand and upright, are mostly made out of wood that protects the inside of it. So it was mostly wood, especially if you've seen a grand piano, you look inside, it's mostly wood and metal. The inside of a piano has metal strings. People thought I've asked a lot of people and they thought it was like regular string like on the guitar, but it's not. I also had that thought too when I didn't know anything about the piano, but it was actually metal strings. The piano, inside of the piano, has metal strings that are strung around a metal frame. It gets hit by hammers. So there's these hammers that are inside the piano. I'll show a picture after this slide. That's in the piano. That's how the sound is produced. It's being hit by hammers. The hammers are made from either wood or plastic and has a padded felt over it, so it's covered with a padded felt. The action of the hammer is self-explanatory. As aforementioned, it hits the strings, creating the sound that we hear from it. So you hit something, it makes a noise. Pretty much what the hammer does. The longer the metal string will lower the pitch. The shorter, the higher the pitch. So the long strings in the piano, because the piano is shaped like a harp. If you've seen a harp, that's pretty much a piano, but it just has hammers that hits the strings instead of you plucking the strings. So the longest strings will sound like this. It's pretty much lower, and the shorter strings are. That's pretty much that's pretty much how the strings work inside. So here's a visual representation. There's are the hammers right here. Right here, these are the hammers. This is for an upright. As you can see, the hammers are upside down. In a grand piano, the hammers are down. This is a hammer. This is what it looks like. This is a wooden version. They also have plastic. This is a wooden version. They also have plastic versions. These are the strings, as you can see. These are the strings. They're made out of metal. And this is the harp shape that I mean. It's a little low quality, but you can see that it's like, if you follow my mouse here, it's like this motion right here. So these are the lower strings made out of copper. These strings are made out of copper, but you can see the lower strings are pretty long, and the higher you go up, the strings become shorter and shorter. The piano also have 3 pedals that are on the floor. Now, if you've seen a grand piano before, you'll see that there's 3 pedals. So there's a pedal on the far left, there's a pedal on the far right, and there's a pedal in the middle. The pedal on the far left makes the piano softer. So when you press that pedal, it plays everything soft. No matter how hard you hit it, it's like it pretty much plays it like that. The middle pedal is a solo sustain pedal. So it sustains either a note or it sustains any note that you play. So for example, give you an auditory example. If I'm playing this note, it's gonna hold that note, but every other note I play, it's gonna be staccatoed. It's not gonna be held. So I hold this note, I play that note, it's gonna hold that. If I play this chord, it's gonna hold those notes, but every other note I play is not gonna hold it. And the pedal on the far right sustains everything, or holds. So it sustains everything really. So I'm holding my sustain pedal right now, and every note that you play is gonna be sustained. Some pianos, however, omit the middle pedal, but on your typical grand or upright, it's there for the most part. Here's a visual representation. Here's a visual picture of those pedals. The soft pedal, the solo sustain, as I call it. I call it the solo sustain because that's pretty much what it does. It isolates certain notes and so holds them only. And the damper pedal. What are the black and white notes though? What are the black and white buttons? The black and white buttons. People always see them. If I showed someone a picture of a drawing of a piano, a drawing that has black and white, they're probably gonna be like, black and white rectangles. They're probably gonna think it's a piano 9 times out of 10. So, but people don't know where they are. A lot of people don't know where they are, but a lot of people do at the same time. But I digress. Those black and white buttons are called keys. There are 8 on a full piano. I have a Alesis recital which has 88 keys on it. So this is a full-fledged MIDI keyboard with full keys. But there are some pianos that have 76 or 61 to accommodate spacing and stuff like that. There are also MIDI keyboards, with this piano being also a piano with sound. If I turn this up, you can hear this. You can hear a different sound from my microphone, and this piano comes with a speaker on it, so I have a sound that has built-in sounds. They're not very good, but most pianos come in a range from 25 to 88. Like I said, mine is 88. You could get one as small as 25 keys, so it's pretty small. Those are popular with music producers and stuff like that. Those small MIDI keyboards, normally Akai, Yeah, Akai pretty much they make those a lot. They have a drum sequencer and not drum sequencer, drum pads and stuff. But those are typically like MIDI keyboards are normally that size because they're easy to carry around. The white keys are called natural, and the black keys are called accidentals. So those are the two names for the keys. The white keys are called natural because they have a natural tone as opposed to the sharps or flats, or pretty much the black notes. So what I just played were all the white notes. Those are all the black notes. So I'm gonna show you when we get to the when we get to the sounds. But yeah, those were the sounds. So the white notes are pretty much the natural sounds, and the black notes are pretty much a variation of those natural sounds, essentially. To give you a better idea, so I have this note. Those are kind of like similar sounding, but this is just a raised. This is just a raised version of this. So when I play this, it's a raised version. This is a raised version. So the black keys, however, have two names though. Even though they're called, like I said, sharps or flats, those are the two names. And those are depending on which direction you're going. So if I'm going up, if I'm playing black notes while going up, those are called sharps. If I'm going down while playing black notes, those are called flats. So like I just said before, when are they called sharps or flats? Black notes are called sharps when you're going up, and they are called flats when you're going down. So if I'm going descendingly, if I play a black note going down, it's called a flat. But we'll get into that when we start talking about intervals and scales and stuff like that. What are the different types of pianos? Now, there's three primary types of pianos. There's grand, there's upright, and there's electric. Those are the three primary types. They are often combined to represent different styles, such as electric baby grand piano, electric upright, and baby grand piano. So here's a visual representation. This is electric piano. I have an electric piano. This is a grand, and this is an upright. The grand piano. We talked a lot about it previously, but it's the largest piano that is played. It's the largest piano that is played. They are the most majestic, but they're also the most expensive. A grand piano can cost a lot of money. I'm talking house. A house. A grand piano can cost a house, like $500,000. That's how expensive they can get. But they're most, and from what I've seen, they're more used for like live shows, like for example, like if you go to a John Lennon concert, you're probably gonna see a grand piano, or for orchestral performances as well. The upright grand are the most common type of piano, as they're found in the homes, and they're more affordable. They're normally found in a lot of homes that you go to, a lot of houses. You will probably see a upright, because it's small. It's so much smaller than a regular grand piano. You could just fit it in a corner. You just fit it in a nice corner. It's right there. They vary in quality. Some have hollow keys, and some have hollow keys, and others try to replicate the feel and weight of an acoustic keyboard, which is pretty much a grand piano. They try to get that same feel. Some of them feel hollow though. The electric versions has different sounds, like guitar, bass, strings, and organs. We're gonna get into the sounds, but the electric version of the upright has sounds like this. It has different sounds. So you have like an electric piano, you have organs, you have strings, bass. You have strings, bass, guitars, all different types of sounds. No, I feel like normally it's limited, I think. I'm not sure. I never played an upright electric, but I'm pretty sure it's not a lot. There's a lot of sounds, but like not a lot at the same time. If you get what I'm saying. Here's the difference between them. This is This is the electric version. It's pretty low quality, but sorry for the low quality image. But if you can vaguely see it, there's some buttons there, and there's a little screen. Those where you pick the sounds, the different modes and stuff like that. And here's the regular, more older the mill upright piano. No electricity running through it. So the electric piano is my favorite type of piano, one of my favorite types of piano because of how much you can do with them. They're pretty versatile, man. They're really they do a lot. I'm telling you, they do a lot. So the electric piano is by far the most versatile type of piano, as it is very mobile and also can with come with an orchestra of sounds, synths, and perks. This type of piano are suitable for moving musicians like big artists that are on tour. Their musicians most likely will have an electric piano. Most of the times when you watch like a live show like the Grammys and stuff like that, probably you see a Yamaha, a Roland, a motif, a Korg motif. You probably see pianos like that. Those are those are electric pianos. Electric pianos are also beginner friendly due to it being more cheaper, but due to the low price, it does not have the same qualities as an upright or a grand. What I mean by this is there's a huge gamut. You can get an electric piano cheap. You can get an electric piano for I've seen for $60. It's not gonna be very good, but that you can get them for pretty cheap. So that's what I meant when I said that. You can get an electric piano pretty cheap. My first electric piano was a Casio piano for $125, and it came with headphones in them. I remember to this day, it was the first piano I had, and it had a whole bunch of sounds on there. It had from orchestral sounds to perks, drum kits, and it also had built-in play-alongs, tracks, and stuff like that. If you're watching this video and you're a beginner, you probably have one of those pianos. But that's one I had. That's the first one I had. But electric pianos, they're so versatile. They can do a lot. Here's some of my favorites. These I've played. I've played these before. I played the Yamaha MX 88 keys. I played the 88. I had a 61 for a little bit. I played these. These you can layer sounds on these. You can do so much with these, man. The Nord Stage 2. This right here is such a good piano. But these are all like, I'm telling you, these are all like high level piano. I'm talking thousands of dollars. Alright, these are thousands of dollars. But the Nord Stage 2, you can do so much with it as well as the Motif FX8. This one I spend the most time on, as well as the Yamaha MX88. The Motif FX8. This is a pretty good piano too. I've done so much with them. Layered sounds. You can put the individual. There's some level. There's some mixers right here. You can put different sounds on them and level them out, so you can play like a pad with a piano and some horns and some strings and probably a choir singing. Like a chorus type sound. You can do a lot of stuff. You could do like synths and synth bass. You can split the piano. All these pianos, you can split them, so you can play piano on one side and bass on the other side. You can do a lot of stuff with these pianos. That's why I love these so much, because the versatility you have. If you're playing if you're playing with other people and say, oh, the bass, we don't have a bass player, you can be the bass player. You just split the piano in half, and you have one half be the bass and one half be the sound that you're using. So some of my favorite pianists, I have four main people that I've always go to. Is Jason Tyson, in my opinion, one of the greatest piano players, like right now, like out, like alive right now. Corey Henry. A lot of pianists know, a lot of jazz musicians know who Corey Henry is. One of the best out right now. Mike Brill, another great gospel musician. These are all gospel musicians. And Alan Merville, another great gospel musician. Alan Merville was actually inspired by Jason Tyson. So these are all people that I look up to, and hopefully you guys will be inspired by them too, and they'll be your idol as well. So yeah, that's it for the slides. We're going to get into the meticulous. Just bring this up here. Okay, so get into this ridiculous here. So this is what I'm gonna be using to help teach you the keys and teach you the basics of the keys and get you along learning to play your favorite songs. So you can see that you can see the notes on there. You can see which chord I'm playing. You can see the notes I'm playing. Okay, so this sound right here is an electric piano. We can go to the top here. These sounds aren't very good, but this is just giving you an example of what I mean by like electric piano, like software pianos and electric pianos have so many different sounds that you can use. So we're gonna start with the grand. So that's the acoustic grand piano. It got a bright piano. It's pretty much brighter. Let's change keys. I go to A. I like that. It doesn't sound very good, but it will do. It will do for these tutorials. The electric grand. So that's an electric grand right there. It's you guys heard the electric already. So let's go to let's try this harpsichord. That's a harpsichord sound for you. What is it? The clavinet sound. We got a music box sound as well. Okay, I like that sound actually. I like that. We got a vibraphone. I forgot how to play that song for a second. Let's go down a little bit. We got a church organ. huge fan. Doesn't sound really good. We got some guitars here. Okay. What's some other sounds we got? We got basses. Got some basses there too. So that's what I mean. It's a huge. You got orchestral hits. There's a huge array of sounds. We can go down to the bottom. We got leads. We got different leads. We got a square lead. We got a. I don't know what that is. Sounds like a wind instrument. Got a voice for a. We got some pads. One pad here. Still some atmosphere here. Sounds pretty good, but this is what I mean. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. This huge gamut, a huge array of sounds you can get with software, software instruments, as well as electric piano instruments. So this is just an introduction, really. This is just an introduction as to what we're doing. I'll see you guys in the next video where we talk about the proper posture and proper hand placement for a piano.